Man, I've been driving like crazy to try to get to a good lookout here to see if I could blast out a quick story on video before I got home from my 3-day road trip I think I'm on. And that's it's the mighty Fraser River down below me, down at the bottom. All these mountains you see right here, they all fall into the Fraser River. And right now I'm thinking I'm about half an hour north of Lillooet, British Columbia. So hopefully I got enough time to read this story because I think it's a real good one, especially the way, well, you just see why I think it's a good one. Looks like it might be a little long. Hopefully it stays light out enough. The sun's already gone down behind the mountains over there. And for all you newcomers or whoever's confused or frustrated with the fact that I keep sharing these stories, just so you know, once again, the only reason I'm reading these and sharing these encounters is for the people who have had similar encounters and need the support. Okay, that's the only reason why. Anybody else comes here and gets frustrated with me for doing this, well, I don't know. To all you people that aren't interested in this but you insist on watching, I don't know what to say. I guess besides, I don't know, get ready to really teach me a lesson with that dislike button. Triggered. Okay, listen to this, you guys. All right, this is potentially, it's pretty interesting. I read this like 5 days ago, and I knew I had to share it. Steve, hey, just want to say thank God I found you and your channel. I'm so thankful for what you're doing. You're the only person on this planet that speaks the truth about the subject. The bullshit out there on the subject is so deep, and the most recent expedition using algorithms to predict where a mythical creature might be. Mythical? Are you effing kidding me? Most everyone on this planet is so preoccupied with their iPhones, computers, and have this self-righteous attitude, and somehow have the perception that we as a species are so smart. What will they say when they find out that there are people on this planet who are more advanced than us on the evolutionary chain? Maybe not in the realm of technology, but in relation to this Earth, and we would no longer be able to use Homo sapiens as the DNA baseline at the top of the scale. I can guarantee if DNA was put against ours, they would tilt the scale in the opposite direction. Like, for example, humans 100% top of the scale, bonobo chimps 99.85% from human, regular chimpanzees 98%, great apes 97%, orangutans 94%, etc. If they could include Sasquatch, DNA, it would say 150%, 15% in the other direction. My point being, why don't you place a human on a mountain, in the forest, in the middle of the winter, at 10,000 feet elevation, with no clothes on, no tools, and tell me how long they would last? They wouldn't last 3 days. These people are far more advanced and in tune with the Earth than we could ever be. No doubt. Encounter year, 1993, middle of May. This is only the 5th time I've told this story to anyone outside my family members. And the 4 before you, I've almost been in fistfights, and the people I was talking to would not have just walked away cleanly. It was the end of my junior year in college at Arizona State University. My roommate and I secured jobs in the Kenai Peninsula, Alaska, through a good friend of ours who had fished commercial salmon a year before. Set netting in between Castleoff and Kenai rivers. My roommate secured a job with Jeff Ransom, who owned the sites. He passed away the same winter in an avalanche while snow machining in December, I believe. Jeff's sites were on the mouth of the Kenai River. I did not secure a job until arriving at Homer. I had a job fishing halibut, 48-hour fish. I don't know the regulations now. The job was with Kevin Duffy, who was Jeff Ransom's brother-in-law. He referred me to Debbie Nakata, who owned the SetNet sites just south of Jeff's on the Castleoff Riverside. I'm just giving you the background in case you wanted to verify. Deb still lives there and in Hawaii in the winter. We started off our trek, arrived at the Canadian border of Vancouver, headed on through Whistler, my neighborhood, and the switchbacks in my backyard, up 97 north to Prince George, and then 16 west, and proceeded to hit the 37 Cassiar Highway. On the map, it was single red line, which means 2-lane paved road. Not. It was 800 miles of 2-lane dirt and gravel. So headed north in my 2-wheel drive 86 Toyota pickup truck with 200,000 miles on it already. We'd stopped at Iskut, BC to get gas and some food. Been there a few times. May 28th, 1993. It was almost 9 p.m., 8:45 p.m., somewhere around there. I know this because I'll never forget this day and what happened next. I go over it in my head daily. I'm almost 50 now, and I was 23 then. I can remember the scent in the air, the scent of the forest, scent that I did not experience in Arizona. It was the scent of pure, clean air, the forest and rain all combined. When we pulled out a gas station, I looked at my truck's clock and it said 8:59 p.m. The sun was on the horizon, not sunset yet. I drove for about 2 miles and pulled over to the side of the road because I thought I had left my wallet at the gas station. After getting out of my truck, I found it on the floor between my feet. I jumped back in the truck and put it in drive. I was creeping along at first because I was putting my wallet in my bag behind my seat, so I was half turned around. While moving forward, so I was half turned around while moving forward. So I was only going about 10 miles per hour. My roommate in the passenger seat had his head down, leaning forward, taking off his shoes. As I turned to put both hands on the wheel, my focus was back straight ahead. I started to accelerate to maybe 25 miles per hour, when about, I would say at 75 yards ahead from the tree line on my right, I saw what I thought was a grizzly bear at first glance, exiting the tree line starting to cross the road. I was about to say, "Grizzly!" Because at first glance in a split second, that's what my brain said. But in another split second, as I took my foot off the gas, I saw something larger than a grizzly take its first 2 steps across the road on 2 feet. I basically froze as my truck rolled forward. The next thing I knew, I slammed on the brakes, sliding a little in the gravel, and as my roommate, who hadn't looked up yet, hit the dash and glove box with his chest and part of his face, I screamed, "Bigfoot!" and came to a halt. My roommate looked up and went silent. When I looked at him at first, he was staring straight ahead with eyes more wide open than I thought I'd ever seen before. I looked back ahead and watched the 3rd and 4th steps. It never turned to look at us. And we were at this time 40 feet from it. The funny thing is, it didn't look at us at all, but the child it was carrying in its right opposite arm, which is high up on her chest, and its upper torso was at her shoulder, and it was turned and looking right at us. From behind her head, it was almost peering at us from behind the right side of her head. As its mom walked across the road, it never took its eyes off us the whole way across the road, which only lasted for 3 or 4 more steps. Her left arm looked very long as it dangled almost to her knees. She wasn't swinging her arm, probably because she was carrying her child. It immediately entered the opposite tree line, and as it did, I accelerated towards her and slammed on the brakes where she entered the tree line and jumped out of my truck. And my roommate said, "Don't get out. What are you doing?" But in saying that, he had already opened his door and was on his way out as well. I ran from my truck to the tree line and just stood there with my ears facing the trees. I heard not a sound, stood there for 5 minutes in silence, and never heard a sound, and I slowly backed away from the tree line. I looked up and recognized the tree she had entered under. I looked at a branch she went under, and that was no way it was any less than 8 or 9 feet from the ground. We got back to the truck and started driving. After sitting in silence for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, my roommate says, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yes, I did. Did you see the child it was holding?" And my roommate said, "That was a baby, a human baby." And I said, "That was not a human." And he said, "No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant it looked like a human." And I said, "Yes, it did. It looked like a person." And my roommate then yelled while looking right at me, "What the F?" Then he said, when he said that, tears started coming from my eyes. And he said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "I don't know." We drove in silence for the next hour until he said, "What are we going to tell everybody?" And I said, "I don't know, probably nothing. No one will believe us because people are idiots." And we talked about the features of the child's face and the size of its eyes, how it was looking at us, the hair color, the mother's height, the weight of the mother, etc. And Jebs kept driving. The whole summer in Alaska, that summer, every time I heard a noise in the trees, I would stop and just listen. I can relate to that one. It changed my life forever, and have went over in my head practically every day for the last 25 years. Thank you for your channel. Any questions, free to ask. Anthony Petroni. There's another one. And at the common theme, being scared of what people are going to say, not being able to talk about it, and it absolutely drives you half insane while you think about it basically almost every day for the rest of your frickin' life, right? And that result is what I keep telling everybody is absolute bullshit, because Far more people know about these things than let on. On that note, one thing I'm starting to realize is just do the numbers just on the my YouTube channel alone. You know, the YouTube channel is now getting close to 2.5 million views a month, and it's increasing. Who knows how much a day? It's nonstop. It's crazy. But it also shows you how many of those views are from subscribers and how many views are from non-subscribers. And over 50% of the views on my channel are from people that are not subscribing. So what I am possibly thinking, is very, very many of those people are probably so deathly frightened of anybody catching on that they're either interested in this topic, or possibly that they may have had an experience and they just do not want any attention. They don't want to acknowledge it. They don't want to admit it publicly. They don't want to be ridiculed. And I have a feeling that that is what possibly the majority of those non-subscribing viewers, that's who it is. I wouldn't be surprised at the slightest. And that's fine. As long as you people, if that is the case, and I'm talking to you people directly, that's okay. Because if all of these brave people, brave, honest people who are sharing their stories through me, as long as that's helping you, then this is worthy of my time and their time and your time to watch, for sure, without a doubt. And that's why I'm going to keep going. It's kind of funny, you know, when you read some of these stories that I've been reading, it's amazing. You know, sometimes I'll get caught up by accident because I'll glance at myself at the wrong time and a notification will come up on, it'll be a comment or something, and just the odd time I catch the wrong comment. And then I'll read a few, and it's so weird how there's a small handful of people out there that actually call me a bullshitter or a liar and accuse me of making all this up. And when you look back, I think it's like over 60 experiences that I've shared with everybody. Do you realize what kind of a skill that would be to have in this lifetime? That would be some insane skill, man. Wow, imagine making up these stories and making up the names. Whatever, teach their own, who cares, is what it is. You're not going to make everybody happy. But on the positive note, there is a 97% approval rate of the content being shared on this channel. So it's definitely worthy of my time, worthy of your time. It's worthy of time, big time, and it's helping people. Without a doubt. You just got to read a lot of the great comments that people are leaving, right? And then I got to get going, man. I'm so hungry. And I still got to go up over Mountain Pass, the Duffy Highway, to get home. What else do I got news to share aside from all that? I keep having to turn the camera off because there's a highway right here and cars coming by. So that's basically, the sun's gone. It's going to be dark in a matter of minutes. What else I got to say? David Pilates, he recently invited me to come and babble publicly in front of a room full of people. I might do that. Thanks, Dave, if you're listening. We'll see if I got time and I might pull that off. A couple days of chatting in Washington State. And what else? Don't forget, you guys. You want to be informed, honestly, and know exactly what's going on and be informed of some topics that should be getting more attention than they aren't. Make sure you get these books right here, order them and read them, okay? I can't push these two books more than enough. And both of these authors, Scott and Dave, both have other books. They've authored other books as well. These ones right now are some very, very important pieces that you need to read. And I'll note on those two books, I think they're available on Amazon, but I have a feeling Amazon gouges the living crap out of you. So you may possibly want to contact Dave or Missing 411 or Scott Carpenter directly somehow on social media, or maybe drop them a comment on YouTube or something, find out the slickest, smoothest, most efficient way to get your hands on those two books, okay? Because they're very, very important. And what else? Okay, I'm going to pass on a quick tidbit of wisdom for some of you people, okay? There's a handful of people out there who, I don't know why, they go online, they look up individuals such as myself or topics that absolutely make them angry and flustered and want to lash out so bad, and they might go take some content from somebody's video and make a video about them, or they might make comments about them and mention their name. And what you angry people, if you're still watching this video right now, what you angry people are doing without actually understanding it is you're promoting not only the channels that you're angry at, the people that you're angry with. Every time you acknowledge them publicly in any way, you promote them. You make more people go to them, and you make more people listen to them. Get it?